Hello, everyone. I can squat down here. The Garden State Film Festival promotes student creativity, makes the arts accessible to underserved populations, and preserves heritage arts. For 20 years, the Garden State Film Festival has been showcasing Jersey talent and bringing outstanding talent to Jersey from the world. Welcome to the Garden State Film Festival podcast, where we bring to you industry professionals, filmmakers, and game changers in our industry. We're connecting you with phenomenal and diverse groups of people who we respect and admire. I am Lauren Konkar-Sheehy, the Executive Director of the Garden State Film Festival, and with me today is Associate Director of the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission, David Schoner Jr., and with us today is owner of the Scout Source LLC, Asa Miraglia. Dang it. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
How are you today?
I'm very well. I'm happy I'm in my house with the weather outside, but good.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to, I want to just give a little bit of a bio on you that I've pulled off and you can talk. And so you're one of the owners of Scout Source. And my intro always for you is you want your home featured in TV and movies. Scout Source is the place to go. Scout Source is owned and operated by Asa and David and Marcy Clark. Scout Source represents hundreds of urban, suburban, and rural locations for use in commercials, print photography, and webcasts. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So one of the things that we keep on talking about all the time, and we should do an intro, is how did you? We like to focus in on different jobs and different things that people, different careers. So how did you come into having a location service?
It was very serendipitous. About 26 years ago, I moved to Montclair about a year after a very good friend of mine, David Fitzgerald, who was a scout, had moved here. And David, being a scout, did work with the location services that existed at that time. And there were only a few, Debbie Regan, Betty Rankin, and he just saw that there was room for another location service and he thought we should start one. And we did. So David and I worked together for, 18 years. And then he and his wife, Naomi, moved to Brooklyn. And they sold their half of the business to David Clark. And that's where we are now.
Wow. Because when we think of the film business and we think of TV, we also don't realize that commercials are a huge component of this industry, especially with New York City being, the agencies and stuff like that. So in the bulk of your business world that you do, is it a mixture of that? Is there what are you doing more of, generally speaking, with people using your houses?
Our business is, I was going to say 90%, now a little less, maybe, 80% commercials. We do a little bit of TV and film and a little bit of still photography. But I think the reason we mainly do commercials is that commercials use location scouts, and location scouts are working on, for commercials, a really short lead time, and they need to find places right away. And with a film or a TV series, those scouts have more of a lead time to cold scout. So they can actually spend the time knocking on doors and asking people if they're interested and kind of crossing their fingers that there's going to be something inside that house that looks like what they want. But for commercials, they need to bring in 12 locations a day while they're scouting and show them to the director. And they need to look pretty much like what they want them to look like. And that's where we come in.
And the great thing I think about, because the turnaround is fast, the great thing about what you do and the service you offer is that someone can go to your site and you can say, well, these are the selects, whether you guys process it or they go through it, they can say, these are the selects that we generally like. You're eliminating that whole time that they don't have to do a lead up.
Right.
Totally. And, thank you for mentioning our site. We have been in a very long process of redesigning it, and it's ready to go live in the next month. So we're very excited about that. But yeah, we work, our site is not password protected, so anyone can go and take a look at the places themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So the scouts can make their own list and show it to us, and we'll clear it for them, or they can just describe to us what they're looking for, and we'll send them a queue of places that might suit. And it is super easy for them to work that way. The other thing that is a plus about working with a service is that we really know our homeowners, and we have vetted our homeowners. And, if you knock on a door, that's a person who doesn't understand that 100 people are going to be coming into their house and moving all their furniture and doing like a lot of scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk our homeowners through it. Most of them have experience. If it's the first time, we really hold their hands. And so when the production gets there, they know it's not going to be someone who's like, wait, what? Get out.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that painting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was going to say, because one of the things we were talking about with Gail Behringer earlier is that it's all about networking and it's all about communication. And what you bring is your homeowners, you've talked to them, you know them, they've been through the process, they know you're there as well. And that's invaluable in this business, that it's a lot of pressure sometimes, there's time constraints, and you bring that level, your service brings that level to the table.
That's something that we really are very adamant about. Like of course, nobody can stay on top of all their resources. And we have, about 400 places. So it's people move and it's hard to know. But most of the time we know that those are working locations, and we know the homeowners. If we've had a nightmare experience with a homeowner, we discontinue representing them. So nobody has to feel like they're going to go somewhere and have a bad experience. And on the homeowner side, they know that we're there. Sometimes I talk to people who have let, a cold scout into their houses, and, they don't really know that they need to make sure that they see the insurance certificate or have a contract or things like that, where they're, find out if the guy's got a permit. They're a little exposed. And so I feel like we're of service to the scouts and our homeowners.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. And I love how you have the different categories. So if a location scout is really looking for something, you have everything there. Grandma, kitchen or whatever it is. Like, it really breaks it down so that it's really simple and easy. And what a great resource to alleviate the stress of exactly what you're talking about, the insurance, the permits, to make sure that that's all there so that they're crossing, their T's and dotting their I's. But that is so important, because God forbid you don't have any of that, then you find out the hard way how important your services are.
Thank you. We really pride ourselves on how searchable our website is.
Yeah.
It's not just like the pictures, but you can go in there and you can really drill down and look for whatever you're looking for. And we break things up by architectural style and interior design, and then very specific details, as you said, like grandma kitchens or white countertops or things like that. So a lot of time can be saved with a preliminary scout on the site like that.
Yeah.
One of the things we keep on focusing on, and I talked about this before, because the Garden State Film Festival is strongly female run, and it's a great thing. And yes, and so I love the fact also that I wanted to talk to you about being a female in this industry, because you've been doing this for quite some time. And so to just talk a little bit about that I love that component of it.
Well, I feel like the scouts are our main customers, and the scouts have always been very open to working with me, I've never sensed any kind of, misogyny coming from the scouts, like, oh, who's this lady? It's not like that. And then for the homeowners, I think that the homeowners appreciate, the homeowners are mainly women, and they appreciate speaking to another woman who is going to really, the scouts do a great job at what they do, but they don't really want to spend, 20 minutes on the phone telling people like, no, don't worry, they'll put your pictures back where we found them. So I think that that's valuable. And, I think also the fact that I live in the town, David and I live in the town that we have, most of our filming happening is also really valuable. But as we kind of mentioned before, the location service business seems to be a business that is run by women. All of the big location services that exist, and there probably are, maybe only 5 of them right now, are owned and operated by very competent, very, long standing women. So that's a nice thing.
And you've been doing it for quite some time. And there is a great history to having that when, as a location person going to someone who's been doing it for a long period of time, because you have, I hate the word, but I'm going to use it, institutional more than historic. You have institutional knowledge that you bring to the table that is invaluable.
Right.
It's true. And it's funny that the scouts have a lot of institutional knowledge also, because sometimes they'll call me up and they'll ask me for a house that we represented like 20 years ago. You got the Smith house for me? It's like, no, not anymore. But it's true. You know your homes, you know your homeowners, you know your towns, and you can, sort of offer that. It's part of the whole package.
Right. We were talking earlier about trust, and this is one of those things again that the homeowners trust you, and then the location scouts trust you and the homeowner. Like there's that huge trust that the homeowner needs to feel with you. And that if you don't have that, then you can't really have these strangers come into their house, move everything and do it. So it's so important, the service that you offer.
It's really important because this business, for as huge, I don't mean my business, I mean the industry, for as huge as it is, and for how much money gets spent, it's a kind of a handshake business. And it kind of runs like you know who you're working with and you trust them. And so I often see when I represent a home for the first time, the homeowners are kind of like caught up with the contract, like, can you get me the contract? And I need to go over the contract and I need to review it. And can you put this in the contract? And of course I do. And of course I respect that from them. But I know that the reality is that, they do, the production company does what they do and I do what I do. And the paperwork is kind of incidental. It really is just a trust-based business. And I know that if anything goes wrong, of course I have an insurance certificate and a security deposit, but I know that those guys are going to be there to make it right, and nobody's walking away from anything. And I think homeowners need to get a couple of those under their belt to feel that too.
And that I think is a great thing why you go with a service, right? Because you have the historic, the history behind it, and you're going to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huge. Do you have any tips for location scouts that are maybe starting out that kind of don't know not what to look for, but there's certain things that that they should know when they come in and look at something first sight?
I guess, first of all, even though it's a website, we are always available. So all they have to do is call up, and a lot of people call, and even, kids working on their student films will call.
Nice.
And of course they can't afford to, rent a location, but I'm really always happy to talk them through how it works and what we do, and what you need to do in terms of the permits and the things like that. So a conversation is always welcome to begin with. And then after that, if you spend a little time kind of just navigating around the site, you can start to get a sense of what you're looking for. And when we redesign the site, we put in a lot more kind of helpful information, like little descriptions of the different architectural styles. So they might not know that what they're looking for is a mid-century modern, but if they read that they want a low-slung, horizontal kind of look with natural materials, that's a mid-century modern, you know? So we hope that we are, you know, like partners to them in their work.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I love, Lauren, I know it's also what the Garden State Film Festival is about, this mentoringship and
Yep.
taking care of it and recognizing it. And I appreciate, Asa, that you and David and Marcy actually take the time out when, you know, you get someone that does call you up. And obviously they maybe can't afford the location, but you at least will have a conversation with them and talk to them about it. I think that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because you never know where somebody's going to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
That might be the next big director.
I have to tell you, at the Film Commission, our big thing is we work with projects of any size. Obviously, we will advise them and give them stuff because I don't know where they're going to be in 5 years. And in 5 years, we want them to say, you know, let's come back to New Jersey because they helped us out when we had nothing, and or they gave us advice or had the conversation.
Well, true blue and loyal is what we see with our filmmakers through the Garden State Film Festival. Even some of our filmmakers in another country, you know, if we order something, a piece of equipment for them and mail it to them, like they know that we're here for them no matter what. It might sound very Jersey, but once you become a part of the Garden State Film Festival, you're part of the family.
You are.
That's so great. And also I have to say that, you know, I know as, you know, in my profession, what I do, I know that I can always call you guys and you really do know what's happening in the different towns. You know, if I don't have houses in a town, I don't know what their filming ordinances are like. You always know, you're always happy to help, you're always available. So you're a tremendous resource.
Thank you. So listen, somebody wants to register their house with you. They want to, where do they go? What do they do? Tell us about that.
The first thing you can do is read on the site. It says, you know, listing your property, and it kind of describes the kinds of places that might work. But in truth, anything works if it's what someone's looking for. So after you read through it, we normally ask people to, you know, they can contact us, but they can also just take a few pictures of the real features of their house and send them to us. And then if it looks like something that might work and something we can use in our library, we'll contact them. And then we will come and shoot the whole house and put it up on the website. And there's no cost for any of that. And we're never paid by the homeowners. We're always paid by the production company, as are all location services, all reputable location services.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're always looking for new places and we love to see them.
Great. And so, you know, but before we close out, I want to ask you, so what's the hot look? Because we, you know, depending on marketing and stuff like that, there's a hot house look. Is there a hot house look right now?
Totally. You know what? Over the course of the years that I've owned this business, it started out with Victorians, big Victorians. And then for a really long time, it was Pottery Barn houses, very open, light, big, white, a lot of light. And now for sure, mid-century modern.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like, but the main thing that is always popular, always, is, especially with young directors who love real, is a very just plain normal house that you wouldn't even really describe any style it is. It's just an all-American house, but it's big enough to shoot in.
Right.
So that's good too.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This has been outstanding. And again, your website really has everything you can imagine: the size, the style, interior design, the rooms, the details. Like, you really have everything that it's a dream.
Thanks. I can't wait for you to see the new one, and I'll
Yeah.
send the link to it when it's finally live.
That's great. And we'll post it on the Garden State Film Festival website. Obviously, the Film Commission will put it out as well. And I want to thank you very much for joining us.
It was so much fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
And I just want to add, Stars Shine this March 23rd to the 27th, when the Garden State Film Festival presents hundreds of independent films. Over the years, hundreds of thousands have attended this multi-day event that is packed with celebrities, galas, parties, seminars, workshops, and most importantly, a hand-chosen selection of over 200 films from around the globe, in all genres, including narrative films, documentaries, animations, music videos, comedies, thrillers, as well as PSAs, trailers, and the ever-popular homegrown films shot right in the Garden State. And we have a new film award category called the Kevin Smith Homegrown Feature. So for more information, go to gsff.org, and we hope to see you in Asbury Park in Cranford, New Jersey, March 23rd to the 27th, and then the March 28th to April 3rd will be the virtual component of GSFF 2022, which is our 20th anniversary.
Yes.
Hey.
All right, thanks everybody. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Asa. Thank you.